In the golden halls of Amalienburg Palace, beneath the gleam of centuries-old chandeliers and the quiet reverence of royal history, a storm brews behind closed doors. The Danish monarchy, known for its stoicism, elegance, and unity, now finds itself facing a deeply personal challenge, one that doesn't involve international diplomacy or ceremonial splendor, but the emotional well-being of its future king. Crown Prince Christian, the heir to Denmark's throne, stands at the center of a quiet, complex, and heart-wrenching battle. A battle that pits the weight of royal expectation against the fragile thread of youthful identity and freedom. He is only 20 but carries centuries of history on his shoulders. Every smile in public, every nod at a foreign dignitary, every polished boot and tailored suit is more than just a presentation. It is a symbol, a performance, an obligation. For most, 20 is a time for experimentation, confusion, discovery, and mistakes. For Christian, every step is scrutinized, every relationship whispered about in tabloids, and every emotional tremor hidden beneath a carefully curated royal mask. While the world watches with admiration, seeing in Christian a charming, responsible, and composed prince destined for greatness, those closest to him, especially King Frederik and Queen Mary, are witnessing a different narrative unfold. A quieter, more painful reality. Their son is struggling, not with failure, scandal, or rebellion, but with something far more insidious, the relentless pressure of living a life that may not entirely be his own. Behind the palace gates, there is tension not born of conflict, but of compassion and helplessness. King Frederik, himself once a crown prince under his own mother's austere reign, recognizes the signs all too well. The long silences, the forced smiles, the late nights alone. Queen Mary, who gave up her Australian anonymity to become one of Europe's most admired royals, knows the cost of transformation. She sees the subtle cracks in Christian's armor, the quiet plea behind his princely posture. And she is afraid. Christian's personal desires are not extravagant or scandalous. He craves something painfully ordinary, the right to discover who he is outside of centuries-old traditions. He yearns for love without headlines, friendships without agendas, and choices without the weight of a nation. But in the monarchy, personal freedom is often the first sacrifice on the altar of duty. Even as he attends state dinners and waves to crowds with practiced poise, Christian is quietly asking himself, who am I beyond the crown? What if the life chosen for me isn't the one I would have chosen for myself? And if I admit that, what does it mean for my family, my country, and the monarchy's future? His parents have done everything they can to prepare him. Queen Mary, known for her impeccable grace and iron will, has always been deeply involved in her children's upbringing, ensuring they experience normalcy alongside royalty. King Frederik, a modern monarch with a love for sport and a deep emotional sensitivity, has tried to be both father and guide. But the one thing they cannot shield Christian from is the internal war he wages each day. Close aides to the royal household describe a prince torn between immense pride in his heritage and a gnawing sense of loss. Loss of privacy, of spontaneity, of being just Christian and not His Royal Highness. His schooling, his friendships, even his university aspirations are all viewed through the lens of his future reign. Every decision must be strategically aligned with the role he will one day inherit. And that inheritance, while glittering on the surface, can feel suffocating when worn too young. There have been rumors, quiet murmurs in European royal circles, that Christian has confided in other young royals, those who understand the paradox of being born both privileged and imprisoned. Conversations with Princess Elizabeth of Belgium and Prince Gabriel of Sweden, for instance, have reportedly been a source of comfort. These are bonds not forged through diplomacy but through shared experience, shared pressure, and shared dreams of freedom. Christian is not rebellious. He is respectful, dutiful, and kind. But he is also honest, with himself and, increasingly, with his parents. He wants to live a life of purpose, but not at the cost of personal authenticity. He wants to serve Denmark, but not if it means silencing his own voice. And this is where the true heartbreak lies for Queen Mary and King Frederik. They raised their children to be thoughtful, compassionate, and grounded. But now, they are watching the very values they instilled pull Christian away from the rigid mold of royalty. In their private family moments, the conversations are emotional, raw, and filled with uncertainty. How do you support your child's happiness when their destiny belongs to an entire nation? Recently, Christian was seen attending events with a more subdued demeanor, his body language closed off, his gaze distant. Body language experts noted a subtle but consistent withdrawal. He engages less with the press, avoids eye contact at times, and often walks a few steps behind his parents, as if unsure of his place. These are not signs of disrespect, they are signs of someone carrying more than anyone his age should. The Danish press, respectful but curious, has begun to question whether Christian is truly ready for the monumental task ahead. Not just in ceremonial terms, but emotionally. Can a young man struggling with identity truly be the figurehead of a nation seeking stability and tradition? Or is it precisely this struggle that makes him the kind of leader Denmark needs, empathetic, self-aware, and real? Royal insiders claim that Queen Mary has privately broken down over this. Her maternal instincts battle daily with her role as queen. She wants to protect her son, to let him escape if that is what he needs, even if it means stepping back from a throne he was born to inherit. King Frederik, though more reserved in his emotions, is reportedly exploring ways to offer Christian more freedom, perhaps a gap year abroad or a delayed entrance into full-time royal duties. This crisis is not about scandal or rebellion. It is about humanity, about a young man who wants to be more than just a symbol, and about a royal couple willing to question everything to support their child's happiness. Denmark stands at a quiet crossroads, where monarchy and modernity meet in the heart of a young prince. Some wonder if this could lead to a shift in royal tradition. Could Christian eventually pass the baton to one of his younger siblings if he chooses a different path? Could Denmark ever see a monarch who reigns from the shadows, quietly contributing to the nation without wearing the crown? These are not fantasies, but genuine questions being considered within the palace. But for now, Christian remains at his post. He smiles for the cameras, delivers heartfelt speeches, and honors the legacy he was born into. Yet every gesture is now tinged with the weight of what it costs him personally. And every time his parents watch him stand on the palace balcony, they see not just their future king, but their beloved son, trying to hold on to himself in a world that demands perfection. In many ways, Christian represents the new face of royalty, one that acknowledges pain, embraces vulnerability, and seeks balance. His struggle may not be visible in grand proclamations or headline-grabbing antics, but it is deeply real. And as more young royals across Europe confront similar pressures, Christian's journey may pave the way for a new kind of monarchy, one that values mental health as much as heritage. This is a moment of reckoning, not just for Denmark, but for all who watch royalty from afar. A reminder that behind every crown is a beating heart, and behind every public smile is a story untold. So as Christian continues to walk the line between duty and desire, between prince and person, we must ask ourselves, in a world that demands tradition, is there room for transformation? Please don't forget to like, share, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe for more in-depth royal stories like this. Now here's the question for you. Should Crown Prince Christian be allowed to step away from royal duties to discover his true self, even if it means reshaping Denmark's royal future?